Hi, this is Colin Decker, and for my producer podcast, I chose to talk about Chicago based rock producer Johnny K. I learned of Johnny K probably about 8 months to a year ago when I found out my friend's band from Michigan was going to be recording their new album with them. And they actually just spent the last, I don't know how many months it took them to record, but that album's currently being mixed and is ready for release, I believe next month in March, actually, by my friend's band Pop Evil. So that's how I learned of Johnny K and why I wanted to do him for this project. And actually, after starting to do research and learn more about him, I actually realized that he's doing everything that I really want to be doing after I graduate. He's working with all the top bands in the rock industry, as well as he owns his own studio. He's producing, engineering, and mixing albums. And on top of that, he's also a songwriter and a studio musician. And I really believe that that's what it takes to be successful now, is you have to be multifaceted like that, like he is. And I thought that was really interesting when I started researching him, and maybe really respect the guy a lot more, knowing that he's got his hands in pretty much everything, and he owns his own entertainment company, more or less, other than just producing albums or just mixing albums. He does it all. He got his start from a small business loan that he received after he graduated from the University of Wisconsin with a degree in economics. He was working at his family restaurant on the south side of Chicago, and got a small business loan and used it to buy out a house and start up his own studio in there. He started recording bands locally and got his first big break with the song "Fly" by the band Loudmouth. That song got featured on the Varsity Blues soundtrack, and subsequently, after Loudmouth got signed, they dropped Johnny K as the producer. Not to be discouraged, he kept working with local bands out of the Chicago area, and he started working with a band called Disturbed. And after doing a bunch of recordings for them, eventually got their first album put together called The Sickness, and released that in 1999. And that has since gone 4 times platinum, selling over 4 million copies, I believe, in the United States alone, but that might be worldwide. I'm not exactly sure on that. But since then, he's been working with a lot of the biggest rock names out right now. He just got done doing a Seven Dust album. He's, as I said, he's done every Disturbed album virtually to date. He's worked with Adelita's Way, my friend's band Pop Evil. He just did Drowning Pool, Soil, Finger Eleven, and in 2008 he was actually nominated for a Grammy for Producer of the Year in the non-classical division, I guess, for his work in 2008 with Three Doors Down, Black Tide, The Plain White T's, and Stained. So I mean, he's a very relevant producer. He's at the top of his game right now, I guess you'd call it. With all of that success, Johnny K's pretty much put it all back into his own studio. He's got a 6-story, 40,000 square foot studio called Groovemaster Studios based in Chicago. It's got a view of the skyline of downtown Chicago right from his main Studio A, which would be amazing to be working at. He's got 4 main studios in there, plus a rehearsal space, a lounge space, and everything else that goes with a 40,000 square foot facility. In one of his rooms, he's got a Neve 48 channel 8128 Neve console, and in his main mixing console, he's got an SSL 4080 G Plus with a 6-tier rack for all his outboard gear, and that's in his main studio overlooking the skyline of Chicago. He's also got just, all the top of the line mics, all the outboard gear, like I just said, all the top of the line equipment that's helped him make all these great albums. But that is my podcast about Chicago rock producer Johnny K.